And if I'm putting it out there, I'm the DM. I can always say, ha ha, this horrible thing happens, and now you're all dead. In fact, I had a game that's you all wake up
Rocks
dead.
fall, you're all dead.
You all wake up dead one morning, and they all go, what? And you feel the hunger of the undead seeping through you. And we had this wonderful adventure where they had to run around and get back alive. But I love the opening to that. So you all wake up dead one morning.
What a way to wake up.
It was really kind of startling for them. But they're all okay now.
Yeah. Later on, we'll have an episode where we talk about the bonus things that you've put into your game. But
yes.
Know that you have put bonus things because you have developed them over the years.
For the first few years, we tried to develop character classes, but that was a bit of a disaster because they were often unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made items.
In such a long-running game, it's hard to shove a new mechanic into something long-running.
And
it's like putting an OP character into like an online video game.
If I found something in Arduin, it was scaled to Arduin size, and my game was not low level. It was fairly high powered, but this guy was way too high powered. He could do too many things. It might have been fine in his game, but it wasn't good in my game. And nowadays, the books all come out with new character classes and races and ideas. We made up races, we made up items, we made up new spells. I always had the special spell book of DarkFawn spells, which I had gleaned from all kinds of places. And certainly things that fit with the rules that are at the table. We'll talk about table rules in a different recording. But yeah, we've made up a lot of stuff. I got a lot of books about it. Books. I got
of course, inspiration can hit from anywhere.
Anywhere. And then I have places that I write it down. I have a whole thing. I am hoping to call my friend with a podcast about organization. And I'm like, I want to talk organization with you.
This is something to keep in mind. You're crazy about lists, though. You're very analytical of a person.
Yes.
And that part is why you do such a good thing with Dungeons and Dragons, because you're very analytical and make sure you can keep track of all these things. But you're also whimsical enough to have the layers of storytelling to go on top of it. It is the balance of both of these mindsets that make a successful campaign.
And I find, interestingly enough, that when you talk to DMs about their campaigns, a lot of people don't have an open world system. A lot of people think of a game arc where it's like, and the world is here, and then this terrible thing is going to happen unless you stop it. And then they have this one story they're telling, like you've got a trilogy or one book, like you're reading Lord of the Rings. I have a world where it's like, this is 40 years plus old.
Of course, you had 40 years of development for that world, too.
So I have little arcs. And some of them are just one-shots. It's fun. It's nothing. It's somebody being silly because we need a break. Everything's been so, rough and terrible in real life. Let's have something fun. And then sometimes somebody comes down and says, I just want to kill things tonight. And I'm like, right. But I have little arcs, and I have big, longer arcs. And I think one of the reasons that my game has run so long is because there's a lot of, I'm not keeping track of all of it. I write it down, I have a timeline, I manage it. But when Gary has 6 characters...
Gary's a player in your game.
Gary's a player in the game. When Scott has 6 characters, Sandy has 12 characters. People have lots of characters, and we sit down and I go, tonight we're running low level. And they all get out a low level character. Sometimes they're brand new.
You have multiple characters, too.
All the players have multiple characters.
Not many people do that, you see.
No, because if you kill that one guy, now what are they going to do? In my game, it's like, if I kill that one guy, next week roll up somebody else. Although you can't roll somebody up unless they're first level. You can't start at 5th level. Oh, by the way.
There are some people who are running one-shots that actually will start people off on high levels. But that's usually good for one-shots.
And you got to have the players who know what they're doing if you're going to say, start with a 10th level character. And if you're starting with a 10th level character, well, what kind of magic items do I have? I run a high magic game. I like magic. I like spells. I like elves. I like dragons. I don't want it to be just a... Yeah, well, it's just dogs and swords. No, I want the fantasy element in there.
And that's good for your flavor of campaign.
Yep. But it will kill me when in the middle of the game, I'm running the game and I'm having a good time and I've got this secret thing and this is really cool thing that's going to happen. And then suddenly Gary goes, oh yeah, my character who's this. And I go, oh, is that this character? Yes. Oh, well then you would know this guy. And suddenly the game that's going straight down this way suddenly goes, whee!
Well, that's just player interaction.
Yes, but because I'm not running a linear story arc, they can interject something interesting in the game that suddenly makes me go, wait, Gary and his unseen frog. I gave him a spell. It was an unseen frog spell. Saved the whole story arc because he could throw an unseen frog in the middle of it all.
Well, you're going to have to explain that.
So I gave him a magic item, and it was a little book. And I physically made a little book of really weird spells. And I had stitched it together and made it like a little, because I like props. I like to give things to players. And as little rip-out pages. And I handed it to Gary's character. Gary rolled for it. Gary's character got it. And Gary's character carried it around in all of his gear. And it was an odd little book of magic scrolls that he could read the scroll off and off it would go. And we were running this long, interesting game arc about a land that bloomed little pink flowers. And it made you forget all of your intelligence. Intelligence went down to like 2. You were an animal now. And they were trying to save this entire land because nobody could live there. And if anybody found these flowers, they would be able to weaponize them. And they figured out that there were druids a long time ago, because this was running from a long time ago. And they found that the druids had made this one huge, large plant, but the plant could not be affected unless it was through nature. And through the natural, they tried all sorts of things and all sorts of magics. And what they finally wound up doing was, if they could get like a poison, I think it was a poison, into the flower, it like pollinate it, except that they couldn't do it because anything magical that they tried and they couldn't get close enough. It was one of these, you guys figure this out. And I sat back and went, I'm sure they'll figure it out. And then Gary whips out the unseen frog, because obviously it could get through, and they threw it. They poisoned on it, because frogs have, and then they threw the unseen frog. They could feel it, but nobody could see it. And it went through and it hit the flower, and the flower died. And they ran like crazy because it was a big boom at the end. But it was just,
and yell.
Yes. But the whole idea, every once in a while, I just turn to Gary and think, very good use of an unseen frog. That's why he's a master now.
Such a fun turn of events.
And I have master's projects over here where if my players take a character and make them from an apprentice to a journeyman, they work on a master's project.
That's another thing with characters who are such long playing.
Yes.
When you reward them and how you level them up in the game itself.
Yes. I like the mages. I got a magic university in my town. And it's called the Magic University. Because
that's all you need.
Back when you start a game in the 70s, you say, and here's the Magic University. And you don't think of a fancy name for it. You don't
need a fancy name.
No, it's the Magic University.
A point that a lot of first-time DMs often make, a mistake they often make, is that they try and build an entire world immediately.
I made that mistake.
Well, yes, but
I had this whole system that was...
You're crazy and you have lists and analytics and you're good at writing all this stuff down.
I do. I like to write all this stuff down. I made, because I thought mages need teachers. Okay, there's a magic university. Clerics need a church. Okay, there's some churches. We'll make a couple of them just for the sake of it.
But when do the players interact with those characters?
Because that's before the game, after the game, on the way to the convention in the car. They'll call me up and they'll go, I've got these magic items I don't like or need. Can I trade them for something? Because you can't sell magic stuff in my world. People are afraid they go boom. And you talk to me about it, and then we're talking and we're role playing, and I like that best. And it's hard to do during a pandemic.
So you do role playing outside of the game.
We love role playing outside the game.
Mm-hmm.
When I will suddenly call them up and go, somebody will go, "What's going on?" And I'll go, "Master of Stars having trouble." And I'm like, "Oh, well, he can handle his own trouble." "No, it's girl trouble." "Oh, well, he's not good at that."
There's actually a stigma in some of the modern circles of RPing outside of the game because they consider that, I forget the word for it.
Insider trading.
I forget the name for it. It's basically doing stuff outside of the game.
Yeah, yep.
And then they consider that a taboo.
I could see it because if I'm talking with Russ, who's one of my older gamers, Russ would always love to call me. He'd catch me at the university and we'd sit and we'd talk we'd talk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "My character wants to do this. My character wants to go over to the Adventurers Inn and I need to talk to Ben, the innkeeper." And I go, "Oh, okay." And I'd start. And he'd start, "Okay, Ben, I need to..." And we'd start talking about things. And suddenly I'm role-playing with him. And his character went really well in the status and the mechanisms of the game. And everybody was like, "Wait, why is Russ doing so well?" "Oh, Russ called me and we got this figured out. And we're figuring out problems that are built into the game or things that they'd have to deal with in an adventure. Or there was an adventure that came because Russ caused it." But now I have times where everybody goes, "Well, I want to be there too." Because if something is going on and I have a character that can interact with it, I want to be able to put my 2 cents in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, that's storytelling. Yes, let's do that." So sometimes I'll have a game, a Sunday night where it's like, "We're role playing tonight." Or I'll say, "Let's go on Thursday," and we'll have Thursday, because that's when we're doing it over the computer. In the olden days, I'd get everybody in the car, and it'd be amazing because we're talking gaming stuff, and I loved it, on the way to Sidetrack, back when we went to the science fiction
Which was
meeting.
a restaurant back in the day.
Yummy hamburgers. Oh. And I'd load up the car, and the car would be like, "Okay, so Diana, my character wants to do," or I'd go, "Sandy, this is happening, to your character, Karis." And, "Oh, well." So, yeah, role-playing outside of the game, perfectly fine, as long as you give everybody an opportunity to. If I'm doing role-playing with the gamers on a Sunday, I will make a list of all of the players, and I usually try to write down the characters that they are actively using, and then I will go through and I'll go, "What can I make up that would be good or interesting or give me more insight to this character that's being played? This is Bob's character. What is Bob's character doing?" And then I stop and I think, what does Bob like? Bob likes to be tank. Okay, well, let's see what I can do for the tank that he's playing, next Sunday. So I try to give them all. And some people role play really, really well. And some people know the rules really, really well. And some people aren't paying attention. But I don't talk about those people.
That's all right, though. Everybody plays different. There are many different flavors of players. And I'm sure you've interacted with a smorgasbord of types of players.
Yes, I've only had to oust a couple of them.
You've had to oust some players, though.
I had to ask people to leave my game. They were willing because they found a game and it was every Sunday. It wasn't sporadic and it wasn't crazy. And they would show up and I had to ask them to leave. He started with a character that he rolled up a good character, and he had a backstory and he had all this information, and it was open enough that I could thread it in with my game. And then he would piss everybody, the other players at the table, because he wouldn't just fall into circumstance. And everybody else is like, "You're new at the table. We don't know you that well, but you're already rubbing everybody the wrong way."
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you just realize, "I'm sorry. This isn't going to work." And I found a guy who's cheating. And there's cheating, and there's cheating. I rolled the dice and I saved the day. And I roll the dice and I get all the good magic items and I always save the day and I never miss. And I never sit close to the DM so that she can look at my dice rolls. And if I do, and I check your dice rolls, then he's rolling and he's not hitting every single time like he always did. But he was obviously enjoying the company of the players, and the game didn't particularly matter to him. But it cheats the other players at the table. So after a while, I said, listen, I'm sorry, and I hopefully did it nicely. I'm sorry, but don't come back.
Player synergy is an important thing to keep in mind.
And it's important when somebody has to stop playing your game because life intrudes. That you do not isolate or say, well, you are a terrible person because you can't game. You go, next time you see him at a party or something like, hey, how's life?
Life happens.
Right. And you don't shun them because they can't play in the game the way they used to. You know that they have a life outside of the game. You accept them as the person that they are. They have changed your relationship to them, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It'll either grow or it will grow for them in a good direction. Because for me, I'm still gaming.
The game does not stop one way or another.
No, the game is important. Someday when I am old and ancient, wait, I already am. Sabrina's going to have to put up with me going, hey, it's Sunday. Somebody hook up my system. Get the holograms working. Tech support for mom.
I guess so. I don't know. You guys are already kind of tech.
So far, yes. But, someday I'll be like, honey, can you drive me to the gaming center? Oh, I had guys who were trying to lure me to the gaming centers. My friend is starting a D&D store, a game store. He's going to have an area in the back. Will you come, run games? And that way people will know. And I'm like, no, I have a refrigerator. I have a big gaming table. I have all the stuff I need here. Well, you can run for other people. No, I don't need to have, well, you can run the same game just for other people. No, because then these guys do X and somebody else does A7. Yeah. And suddenly I'm in two different directions. It's like my life is busy. I draw a lot of art. I'm a professional artist. My life is busy. I can't stop everything to game more than I already do. Because certainly it's like, oh, Thursday is make up stuff for the game. And then Saturday is, do I have everything for the game? And Sunday is write it all down, damn it. And then Sunday is the game. And then Monday or Tuesday is, ooh, let me talk to people about the game. So the game is always, and I go to conventions and I talk to the game about the game and the players and what everybody's doing all the time.
It'd be very hard to manage two games at once, especially with the amount of work you've already put into one campaign. Starting another one just right then and there might be a little bit of a hiccup.
Oh, God. I can't help but think that if I had, because I have the setup of my game, and I know that really well. There's the inn, there's the Magic University, there's the elves, there's my Dragon Lady, and this is the fabric of my game. Everything bounces off of that. And it would be easy to start another group of people as long as the fabric is the same. If they ran off and killed Mayamente, I'd be like, I'm sorry, you can't do that. There's too many people that will be mad about it. Or there are too many people that would go and rescue him. So there's a certain amount of hold it. You can't do that. But attempting to keep that, I don't know. I don't think I'd keep it straight very well. Because it'd be like alternate universe. It'd be like Second Earth or something, Earth 2.
Would you ever consider making a small world for a second game? Would you ever consider that?
No. Every once in a while I toy with the idea of, wouldn't it be interesting if I redid the whole idea? Because my game is
it doesn't have to be an entire world or something.
Worth.
But you could start fresh with a new set of little things. Could you ever possibly do that? Or are you too insensively ingrained into this one game?
No, I could do it. I just don't know why I would be dragged to it.
I don't know. knows? Maybe other people would like to experience something fresh.
And it would be interesting, like I say, the idea of my game is a fantasy game. It is a classic European misled fantasy game where it's like knights in shining armor and elves and wizards and this sort of stuff. And I see a lot of game systems that are gorgeous where you go, oh, you have shaman, and the shaman are born out of the earth, or you have, aliens that have come through and slaughtered everything. I can't do that in my game. I've had too many years worth of, this is the game, and this is where we are. I had a guy who returned to the game 10 years after he had stopped playing, and he said, my character of me, because we do that in my game, goes into Ben's and says hi, and Ben says, my God, man, where? Because he's still there. Okay, so early, when D&D just started, nobody knew what role-playing was. Shocking, I know. And in order to get them to role-play, what we did is we said, okay, we're going to roll up your character of yourself, because you know what you would do in these circumstances. And everybody went, okay, this is what role-playing is all about. And we rolled up a character of themselves, which we cheated, because you're hanging out with us, so obviously you're smart. And stuff like that, because you might as well have a good character of yourself. And then the planet Earth and the planet DarkFawn are very close together, and there's this way that you can get from Earth to DarkFawn. And then you have a choice whether you want to stay or not. But there was a bunch of, that way everybody has a character of themselves that's walking around in the game that's like, this is me. How would you react? Would you put your hand in the saw blade in order to pick up the gem? Well, later my character could get cured by the cleric. Would you put your hand in a saw blade? Don't be ridiculous. And that's how role-playing started. Well, now it's years. Everybody knows what D&D is. Everybody knows what role-playing is. And I still have everybody roll up a character of themselves because there's too many. It's like a little club. Oh yeah, you're from Earth. Oh, come on, well, you understand then. Let me help you get started in life. I'll watch out for you because I was there when you were. Is that FBI guy still, on our cases? Actually, he's either with us or he went crazy. We're not sure. So.
But that's a whole different scenario. Now, you've already included a multi-world theory.
Yes.
And I have a personal theory that depending on how long a franchise goes for, even if it's just a campaign, there's always some time where they introduce a multi-world theory.
I have a multi-world theory because back in the days we had the Interdimensional Trading Company, which I think was.
But that happens a lot with a whole bunch of long-running things.
But I don't stay there. But yeah, it does give you a new chance for new blood and new ideas, and
it doesn't matter how often you use it, it is there.
It is there.
Marvel did it, DC did it, Dragon Ball did it, you did it.
Yeah, but we don't live on Earth, we just visit and go, well, we better get back home now.
Well, yeah, but you don't live on all these other planets either, but yet
true.
They visit it all the time. There could be two different Spider-Mans in the same idea.
In the same idea, yeah, it's true.
It is there. But that's something that you have come across, though.
I think that it's a classic idea in a lot of story tropes.
Mm-hmm. It is a story trope.
And therefore, it is easy to say, oh, well, what am I doing today?
Much like elves are a story trope.
Yes.
And dragons are a story trope.
Thank God.
It just happens in the world.
High evil mages.
High evil mages.
I love my high evil mage. My husband made him up, but he's mine now.
Wait, what?
Master Vistar. Your father, Dave.
He made Master Vistar.
Dave made Master Vistar. Dave made him cranky and old and evil, and
he's still cranky and old and evil.
And the problem is Dave made it up because I had a fully resolved game system, and I had cities and places, and I had a number of my players who were like, "Can I make up a game and set it on your world?" And for a while I was like, okay, until one of them tried to destroy my world. And Dave had a small stint that he was trying a few things, and he made up Master Vistar. And then he didn't play him for a long time, and I just went, Dave, I'm stealing Master Vistar from you. And Master Vistar is one of the big guys in my game. He's one of those people. He's important.
He's important.
I draw him a lot. He's always angry. Because that's the way he is.
Okay. So, is there anything we should say other than this classic introduction? Because what else do we need to say about introduction? I know we had a lot of lovely little tangents here and there.
Oh God, there's always tangents. We're having a lovely discussion.
We're going to always have tangents. That's just going to be us.
I would like to say that what we want to do here with this YouTube channel, with this channel, is to talk freely and enjoy ourselves about D&D, and we're going to pick topics, and we're going to pick person, place, and things, and rules and stuff, because I've got so many years worth of fun.
It's hard to cram it all in one episode, after all.
Yeah. So our idea is to sit and explore the idea of getting together with your friends, creating stories, creating and supporting people's imagination.
We'll offer advice to the DM and the player and all of that jazz.
And there's ideas that we hope you, if you like them, and mention me maybe sometime. And if you don't like them, take that idea and twist it and get it into your own game.
We are not here to judge or think of anything bad, just have these tools.
Right. And there's a lot of things to talk about after so many years. We are hoping that you will put some comments down.
Suggest what things you would like to hear about.
Right. Whether it's monsters. Because I thought for a while, we could put in a little thing at the end where it's like, here's the monster of the week. And then I thought, no, that's lame. Although sometimes I like that. But sometimes I don't, because I'm an experienced GM. So for me, the idea of, look, it's the treasure of the week. No, I don't need that. But there are times you do want to talk about cool treasure and cool magic items.
Treasure in my episode. That'd be great.
And I have a lot of things to show people and a lot of things to do.
We have a lot of topics. We will not run out of anything to talk about. We promise.
We promise. And now Indy.
Hi.
Tells us it is time to stop.
I guess our time is up.
The black cat of love says that it is time.
This is Indy. He'll pop on once in a while.
Once in a while. We have cats.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming. This is our first set. We hope to, get a whole bunch of these things up so that people enjoy. Press the subscribe button. Where can they find you on the internet, Sabrina? You have a webpage.
Well, yes, I have a webpage of Gonako art.
There you go.
That's a different story for another time.
You can find me on Twitter. It's D_H_Stein at Twitter. I have a website, Naiad Studios. We'll see if we can put some things in links. And in my Naiad Studios, if you go to the Diana's Brain page, there's all my social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on For Affinity, I'm on DeviantArt, I'm on Fire.
We have a lot of things, we have a lot of social medias and a lot of things to share. And we'll slowly share them throughout the rest of the series.
So, thanks for coming.
All right.
If this is fun, it might have been a disaster, but this is what we do.
We'll figure out from here, right?
Yes.
There's nowhere to go but up.
Right. Thank you all.